titans of the leaderboards out there, welcome back to the Indy Radio Arcade. And with that video game story, folks, it proves that sometimes to do something truly extraordinary, you have to think outside the box. Or in this case, the giant oversized vault that held almost upwards of well over $2.8 million. And I got a feeling one day, I'm gonna go for 2.8. You know, it could happen. It could happen. But speaking of going for something big, folks, I think it's time for us to put some of your high scores on high display with a couple of those indie games along the way. 10 of them for this week for a very special triple-digit edition of the Indy Wall of Fame. And we kick things off with the games, folks, and the first game we have up comes from the developers Silent Dreams with their game Dead Age 2. And this game automatically reminds me of a combination of not only, let's see here, Z Nation with a little hint of Dead Nation in there as well. And one's the game and the other one's the sci-fi show, and Z Nation's the sci-fi show, just in case you're wondering. And here's hoping in the near future for this game that you get a chance to run into new adventures along the way that can actually help you survive out in this rough wilderness in a world gone mad. And according to what the maestro told me, you can. Nice! And the next game that we have up comes from the developers Meddling Kids. Awesome developer name, by the way, with their game Balls Out. And an even cooler name for the game, too. And this game automatically reminds me of a combination of Smash TV with a little hint of dodgeball in there as well. Even though the developer said that this game is a combination of Rocket League and Smash TV, I see more of a dodgeball presence in this. And here's hoping in the near future for this game with a different amount of objects you can buy. You can actually buy a robot friend that can join alongside with you, that can throw balls alongside with you like in Smash TV, to truly help you get an advantage to win that 1982 toaster. Oh, they don't have that prize? Well, here's hoping to add a 1982 toaster in there as well. And speaking of old school prizes you can win from cool games, the next game that we have up comes from the developers Hunter Studio with their game Drill Man Rumble. And this game automatically reminds me of a combination of the Duck game with a little hint of Motherlode in there as well. And the reason why we say Motherlode is because it's a giant drill that you get a chance to upgrade to try to take out your opponents and the ground. Nice! And here's hoping in the near future for this game, besides friendly and other sorts of attacks, they also include environmental attacks that you can activate during the stage at a moment's notice. And according to the maestro, you can. Yikes! Hopefully one of them involves a metro train, because I think it could get involved in this game. Neither that or a giant oversized minecart. I'll go for either or. And the next game that we have up that does not involve any form of subway systems in the middle of a fight comes from the developers Thomas Gellenard Studios, and hopefully we said that last name right, with their game Space Mechanic Simulator. And this game automatically reminds me of a combination of the movie Space Cowboys with a little hint of Apollo 13 in there as well. And here's hoping in the near future for this game, besides getting a chance to actually fix these ships, they also allow you to actually fly the ships after you fix it to make sure they're fixed. Yeah, because you can't be too sure about that. You really can't. Unless you fly it. And the next game that we have up comes from the developers Bookie Pro with their game Unreal Sandbox. And this game automatically reminds me of a combination of Planet Coaster with a little hint of Inception in there as well. And here's hoping in the near future for this game that you get a chance to design anything in. They also allow you to develop the day and night sequences along with a couple of wildlife animals that travels along in this world. Yeah, because I got a feeling that would be pretty cool for you to do. Don't know how you would do it, but it would be pretty cool if you could. And the next game that we have up, which comes from the developers Oniware and Albino Moose Games, nice developer names by the way, with their game, Bo, The Quest for Bing Bing. Nice name for the game, by the way. And this game automatically reminds me of, well, Rayman. Definitely has a Rayman vibe to it with a little hint of Oh No, Mr. Bill Presents, with the fact that this character sort of looked like Mr. Bill if he was real, instead of being clay. I'm not saying Mr. Bill's not real, but if he wasn't clay. And here's hoping in the near future for this silly game that is pretty cool at the same time. It's the fact they allow you to get some form of mythical powers to help you out on your dangerous quest, especially to fight a couple of the demons I saw during the trailer of this game. Cause I got a feeling besides doing a whole bunch of punches and kicks, you're definitely gonna need some backup to defeat those things. Here's hoping you have it. And the next game that we have up, which comes from the developers Team 17 and Digital LTD with their game, The Survivalist. And this game automatically reminds me of a combination of The Island with a little hint of Mike, Lou, and Og. As a matter of fact, a huge hint of Mike, Lou, and Og in there. And the fact that they allow you to train monkeys to actually help you build things around the island. Here's hoping you can also get those monkeys to fight alongside of you just in case you come across some wildlife that is not as friendly as those monkeys. Yeah, and especially that cheetah I saw running across the screen, because I got a feeling that might be coming after you for dinner. And the next game that we have up, besides helpful monkeys that can help you on a distant island, comes from the developers Phobia Game Studios with their game, Karayan. And this game automatically reminds me of not only The Thing, but also The Blob as well, along with a sci-fi original film that would feature a giant oversized creature that tries to kill everything in its sight. Which Maestro said doesn't really narrow down the choice there, but at the same time, you know which one I'm talking about. But besides that, here's hoping in the near future with this mutant creature, you get a chance to actually mutate and grow bigger and evolve into a dangerous and more deadlier creature with each one of the people you decide to eat during this said game. Cause I got a feeling you can eat them. Now let's hope you can actually gain some powers from it. And the next game that we have up, besides giant oversized gelatinous creatures that most likely escaped from a laboratory, comes from the developers Gigantic Duck Games, nice developer name by the way, with their game Bomber Grounds Battle Royale. And this game automatically reminds me of a combination of not only Animal Crossing, but with a little hint of Bomberman in there as well. Or according to the Maestro, a big hint of Bomberman in there as well. And here's hoping in the near future, besides getting a chance to get special bombs with special powers, they also allow you to use the environment against your enemies in this said game. And according to the Maestro on page 6, with the stage falling from underneath somebody as the time elapses, yeah, you can. Alright, well, here's hoping for ice bombs too. Do they have that? According to the Maestro, they might. And the last but not least game that we have up for this week comes from the developer Blue Bottle Games with their game Astronauts. And this game automatically reminds me of a combination of Lost in Space, Titan AE, with a little hint of Space Cases in there as well. And here's hoping in the near future for this game that not only they allow you to customize your ship from top to bottom, but also get a chance to actually man the crew in different positions to help you out along the way as you make your way through the distant stars. And according to the maestro, you can actually put your crew to work in different areas, but not too entirely sure if you can customize the ship or even name it. Now, I wish you can name it too. I'm surprised you mentioned that. And with all those games out of the way, folks, we now head into the high scores for the Twitter page of @highscore. And the first high score that we have up comes from none other than Lark Way, with his high score of 14,630, a part of the PSP game of Atari Classics Evolved, Asteroids Deluxe Evolved. Not bad. Long title, but not bad. Next high score that we have up comes from none other than GeoVam with his high score of 54,610, a part of the MSX game of British Bob, which for some strange reason to me sounds like a cartoon that would be on the air. Nice. Anyway, next high score that we have up comes from Retro Rob with his high score of 19,700, a part of the PS4 game of Minefield under hard difficulty. Next up, you have none other than Bam Meese with his high score of 48,960, a part of the classic Atari game of Draconian Quadrant Gamma Sector 1 under hard difficulty. Then next up you have none other than Ed1475 with his high score of 24,665, a part of the classic Atari game of Looping under Skill 2. Never heard of it. No, really never heard of that game. Anyway, folks, besides not hearing of that game, next game we have up comes from, once again, Retro Rob with his high score of 52,000 under the PS4 game of Minefield under the large stage under easy difficulty. Not bad. Next high score that we have up comes from none other than Speedy4759123 with his high score of 195,780, a part of the classic Android game of Candy Crush Saga under a level 114. A level we hope to reach soon for the Indy Radio Arcade, even though that'll take us about 6 months to do, but I digress. Because the next high score that we have up comes from none other than the Gamer 1185 with his high score of 337,500, a part of the NES game of Hogan's Alley under Game B. Nice. And the last but not least high score that we have up for this special milestone edition of the show comes from none other than Baz with his high score of well over 1,287,081 for the classic DS game of Super Collapse 3 under the classic difficulty. And if you guys want to check out any other cool high scores that are still making their way through the Twitterverse as we speak, you can head on over to the Twitter page of one man only known as @highscore, or head on over to their website known as highscore.com to win cool prizes for your high scores. And like we've been saying for well over 100 episodes now, folks, it's a fair trade. And the high score that we have up for this week, folks, comes from none other than Baz with his high score of 1,287,081, a part of the classic DS game of Super Collapse 3 under classic difficulty. And if you guys want to check out any other cool games that are still trying to make their way to the Steam machine via cargo ship, cargo plane, or even subterranean train that is currently rumbling underneath your toes, you can head on over to the store.steampower page, only known as store.steampower.com, and just click ever so lightly on that Indy button, as well as clicking on that upcoming page as well, to check out a whole bunch of cool and awesome games that can only be contained by madness that we can't even contain ourselves, so they're running loose somewhere on the street. All these games. So I recommend you go out there with a net and try to catch them. Seriously, we don't know where they went, so could you catch them for us? And I guess with that said, folks, we might as well head back to this music one more time. And when we return, we'll be back with this special $1 million question. If we can actually make it $1 million right after a word from our sponsors. So don't skip out on the bonus round just yet, folks, and stay tuned.